quick question. Are we doing a level 1, 2, or 3?
I'm going to show him a level 1.
Okay.
Explain all that to him, and then
thank you.
what we're going to do is when I get to the paperwork part,
Yes, sir.
I'll have him come over and I'll explain all that to him.
Good, so he can actually see what it's like.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Hey, I've got a couple questions that I've you know, had different people tell me different things, so I figured might as well ask the guy itself. If you're out on the road and you run out completely, say you were a bad trip planner, you ran completely out of time.
Right.
Okay, are you allowed to PC to the first safe haven? Or do you just go off duty, or you just go violate until you get to the next safe haven? I've heard two things. Go ahead.
You're going to be in violation.
Okay.
You cannot, so you're loaded.
So say you're loaded. Yep, you run out of hours.
You cannot use PC in furtherance of the load.
What if you went back to where you started?
If you're, okay, shoot, I ran out of time.
Right.
I got this exit.
Right.
I can take the exit there, go into PC, and drive back.
Correct.
To a safe haven.
As long as you go back, okay.
But you cannot continue in furtherance of the load.
That's what I thought. A lot of people, you know, the comments are always bad, bad, bad. And you have some have good comments, but we had one I got D.O.T. a year ago in Florida, and it hit 3.9 million views, and it's got a lot of positive stuff. So I want to show that if you do right out here, you've got nothing to worry about.
Exactly.
And that's the trying to.
And the other thing is, we're not out here. We're out here for safety.
Correct.
We're not out here to screw everybody over.
Correct.
And if I find a violation here that you didn't know about, that you can get fixed and it's going to save your life, then
why? That's what it's for. That's what it's for. That's what it's for.
So, all right, sir. So we're going to do a full level 1 inspection. When I get to the paperwork portion, I'm going to have you come over to the truck, and then I'll go through that with you and show you exactly what we do there. Okay. So what I'm going to have you do is turn the key to the on position. Okay. Release your brakes like you were driving down the road. I've got the wheel chuck set, so the truck's not going to roll anywhere. Okay. Turn your lights on. Lights are on. Okay. So first off, we're going to check the lights. I start here in the front, check the lights, turn signals, and all that. I work my way around. The hose is portion of it, and then after that I crawl underneath. Well, we'll have you open your hood. I check underneath here. I check all your steering mechanism. I check your suspension. I check the suspension, the fluid levels, belts, and stuff like that. From there, if you had brakes, this has disc brakes. So if you had regular brakes, you know, we have you release the brakes. I mark all the brake push rods, and then we go through, and when I do the underneath portion, I measure all the push rod movement and everything, make sure you're within regulation and all that. Okay, so depending on what truck you get, you might have one that actually has push rods. Just make sure you're familiar with that. You kind of get spoiled with the disc brakes, but also with disc brakes, you want to make sure you are checking that in your walk around, that you don't have any rust or corrosion or anything starting on your discs. Would indicate that maybe that ain't working, or looks or deep gouges or anything like that, so you can notify whoever you have to notify that, hey, I need this repaired. Okay. So on the underside, I'm also checking drive lines, exhaust, make sure you have no exhaust leaks underneath. Checking the floor of your trailer, make sure there ain't any big holes or anything like that, and check that the further trailer frame supports are not bent, broken, corroded. All your suspension connecting pieces for the suspension, make sure there's no cracks. Checking all your hoses and that, make sure there's no bulges, cracks, any wear marks, anything like that. It has to be pretty deep for it to be like an actual violation where you're going to be out of service or anything. As far as wear on the hoses, you're going to have to be into that outer ply, or maybe going through that outer ply would be an out of service. It would just depend. Of course, any bulges and stuff like that. You're looking for bulges in between the tires. tire tread depth. You always want to check on your walk around, check in between your tires, make sure you have no bulges, that there's nothing lodged in between your tires that are actually, that's, you know, touching in there, stuck, rocks, anything, any debris that you might have ran over or something.
Everything you just learned in school.
So, and you know, the lighting, everything in the rear. So we'll just, as we go through this, I'll try to explain. If you have a question as we're going through, make sure you stop me and ask, okay? All right. Bright lights. Turn signal. 4 ways. Okay. Horn. You have both. All right. Windshield wipers with fluid. Okay. So, I checked the fluid. You have fluid, you're all good. In inclement weather, if you run out of fluid and you get inspected, that can be an out of service violation. So just make sure you're always checking that, make sure your fluid is.
Would it be a service out of violation if it was weather like this? Would you be out of service? Would it be a violation, just not out of service?
Not be out of service.
Got it.
Out of service if the weather was
Got it.
say it's out of service.
Got it.
Fuel cap mounting.
Everything should be good on the truck. It's brand new. I say brand new. It got a few miles on it. But
Sometimes new don't mean good.
no, you're right. I had a depth sensor go out on it at 10,000 miles and had to go to the shop.
Yep. Turn the key off.
Yep, comes on like it's supposed to, then goes right back off. That's the ABS light he's looking at.
Brakes. Okay. That noise you're hearing here.
You read my mind. I want to ask you, but I don't know if I should or not.
Right. I don't think it's an air leak.
No, it shouldn't
What
be.
I think that is the automatic tire inflator.
Yes, sir.
So,
Because this morning we just went through our brake check where, you know, he put it down to see if it dropped and it didn't. It held air.
what
I mean,
you
we
might
really
wanna
just
do,
went through this trip,
I
so.
don't see anything on here.
Because when he cranks it up, that goes off.
Right. I don't see anything here as far as any damage. All the tires are inflated.
Yes, sir. But yeah, like I said, when he cranks it up, it'll go off and it holds air pressure.
But I'd keep an eye on
The system, yeah.
not the system, but keep an eye on your tires. Seeing there, it went off. So what it was doing, it's reinflating one of these
That's what I
tires.
told him. I was guessing that's what it was because it goes off, but I wasn't totally
Yep.
sure. But that's
So
what
it's-
he asked me that same question. I said, I think it's that. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I'm glad because
It's
I'm glad you said the
something
same
you're gonna wanna
thing.
keep an eye on with your tires. 'Cause
Yes, sir.
You probably have a tire that's leaking.
Yes, sir.
obviously I don't hear anything. I don't see anything. So.
Yeah, that's exactly what I told him, so I was hoping I was right.
Yep.
I was just hoping I told him right, so that's good.
I've had one before like that, and he, you know, it's just a matter of keeping an eye on your tires to make sure. If I see any, you know, as I'm crawling underneath there too, if I see anything sticking out of the tire or something like that,
yes, sir.
I'll of course that's going to be a violation, but I'll definitely let you know about it.
All right. Yeah, I didn't see no sticking out, so let's hope it ain't that.
Right. I just did a post-crash inspection on the truck, which is causing me to look at your upper fifth wheel plate closer. And
what happened?
All my inspections, but he wasn't at fault. But that upper fifth wheel plate, I never really like looked at that. But this one in particular, older farm trailer, and he had, I mean, the upper fifth wheel plate was just cracked, corroded. I mean, that was on the front seam right up here.
Yeah.
Across there, there was a gap that wide, and it was just all rusted.
What did the trailer come off?
No.
Well, how did it
ended is what happened, but and then we had to do a post-crash inspection.
And that was.
And
so he wasn't at fault, but yeah.
No.
I can see that be messed up now.
Yeah. It could be a bad day if that would happen.
Yeah. Let me get the other side. You want to open it?
We will. I just undo it as I come by, so you don't have to.
All right, I got that side.
Okay. Normally, do you want him to go ahead and do it? So like,
open the hood? It don't matter.
Have you jump out and open the hood for me?
That's that door alarm.
Yep.
Your brakes are set, right?
Some of them.
Yeah, they're set, right? No?
No, there is no wheel charge.
That's why the alarm.
Oh, that's why. I was like, okay.
Yep. Some of them are a lot more obnoxious than that.
Nice weather y'all having out here.
Yeah, not bad at all.
No.
Alright, have you jumped back up in the truck? Okay. You want me to close it or? No, not yet. Alright, so at this point, I'm going to be getting on the creeper going underneath the vehicle. Don't touch anything. Depending on what I see under there with the brakes, with the disc brakes, I may have you apply them just to make sure they're functioning properly. If I can visually inspect that, you'll see that, okay? So, no. You just don't touch anything in there unless I come out and I tell you to.
If you don't mind, can you call out what you're looking for or what you're seeking?
So I'm looking at driveline, basically just checking that you don't have any play.
Okay, thank you.
And universal joints, anything like that. The carrier bearing is good there. Checking exhaust, make sure it's mounted. I don't see any signs of any leaks. On the exhaust, I'm looking at the motor itself, the back of the transmission, looking for any leaks or anything like that.
So what would be a sign of leaks that you'd see?
You're
Visual.
gonna have some normal leaks. As long as there's no drips or anything like that are formed on it.
Okay.
I don't see. Everything looks good. I'm checking your air lines under here. Making sure that, you know, there's no cracks anywhere.
Okay.
Bulges, anything like that.
So as far as the exhaust, it'll be like a drip or something?
The exhaust, I'm looking for carbon around any joints or
Okay.
anything like
Carbon around the joints. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure how to train on that issue, so that's
Yep.
that's all I wanted to know.
If there was a leak under the cab and there was a, say on an older truck, this one's going to be kind of past that, if there was a way that could get into the sleeper or the truck, that's going to be an out of service violation, obviously.
Do you ever see that with APUs? I mean, I don't have an APU, I got an EPU, but you know, the APU has diesel. You ever see an exhaust leak on that, like on the APU itself?
I have not ran into any, no.
Years ago, I had an APU, and it was running fine, but I kept smelling exhaust, and it was going into the cab. So I just had to shut it off. But
I get to wiggle my way back out.
Yeah.
Of this.
There you go. What is that, your phone thing?
Yep.
It's the Bad Boy song? He got the Bad Boys as a song on his phone. That's pretty good.
One thing you'll want to check of and keep an eye on,
The hangers?
which these are good.
Let me get her with you.
Where these connections are and where they put these.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes like your
snap.
hose will pop out of that and you'll get these rubbing and they'll start causing some chafing on your lines. Yours are all nice and secured up like they're supposed to be. In any of these areas where they have stuff, they got everything done really nicely on yours.
Okay, good.
You just keep an eye on that to make sure.
So that all friction don't go against it and it
Right.
causes a little.
Because over time you may have that.
Now I don't know how, if you can explain this to me or not, but just without seeing the visual, what part is frayed? Is it's got a little cut? Is it got to be like you got to be seeing wires inside of it? Is it
Right here,
bulges?
what you see is
Yeah, that
the
looks like
outer
that.
layer, okay, it's like a rubber layer over that. You get to the inner ply, the inner layer, it's like a cloth,
Okay.
or it's like a mesh woven deal.
So
and
it can
then
be not have an air leak, but it can still be in violation if it's showing that, correct?
right.
That's what I was
The
wondering.
reduction in diameter of the hose is what
Okay,
you're looking at.
okay.
Like, there's a little bit right here, but nothing super
I see what you're
crazy
saying.
to speak of. I wouldn't even consider that a violation yet.
Okay, good.
But if that continues rubbing like that, you're gonna have a problem.
Right here. I see what you're saying.
Right where they're rubbing, right here.
Right in there. Let me get it for so I can see. Okay, yeah. Right in there eventually, yeah.
But right now it's good. Rotors look good, nice and shiny. Everything's working properly back here. I'm checking your shocks, the mounting, all that kind of stuff. Looking at frame. Looking at any cracks or anything in any
Right.
of the components. Any cracks running from that, any cracks on the frame, like all these cross rails, if they're bent, cracked, broken, or corroded.
Do you see a lot with airbags?
What's that?
Do you see a lot of inspections that have like bad airbags or leaking airbags? You see that a lot of? Well, let me ask you, what's your main thing you find?
I've had a few on airbags, but not really. Most commonly under here is you're going to find the chafing of the hoses, or on the brake pods that actually have your push rods, you're going to find brakes out of adjustment. Also, like on those pods, you'll have where the push rod meets the slack adjuster out there. The cotter pins that come out of those won't be connected where the automatic brake slack adjusters aren't working properly.
Now, how would you tell that? Like, so if I was training a trainee and he's doing a pre-trip, what is exactly?
Obvious. You'll see that cotter pin missing.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
On that, where the slack adjuster's not connected.
Okay. So you say your biggest violation you see is the frayed hoses and tires?
Yeah, some tire violations. So that's not a problem yet. I don't think your leak would be here, but you see that cut?
Let me see.
A bit of a cut in the sidewall right there.
Correct. It could eventually.
It's not. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a problem there yet, and it could just be a manufacturing thing the way that's sitting. But
what if you seen like a chunk missing out of it?
That's a problem.
Okay.
It depends on how much I can see.
What about? I mean, on the side, or what about right here?
On the sidewall.
I'm talking about on this right here.
On this side.
Sometimes I come across tires that has like a chunk like a chunk missing, but it's not.
Right.
But the tread's all there, but you got like a chunk right there.
As long as there's no cord showing or anything like that.
Okay.
Any belt ply, we're good. Basically, as long as you can measure 4/32 of an inch in 3 separate locations.